Hello, everyone. Sorry for the slight delay. I apologize. Um, I'm here today to talk to you about boosting your immunity, and that's by popular demand. Most of you responded to my survey and to personal questions that you want to see more about how to boost your immune system. First of all, my name is Stanislava Stajkova-Lukok. I'm a naturopath and a fertility coach. So I help women, men, couples conceive, especially if they have tried for a while and nothing has worked. So COVID-19, this crazy virus, is taking over the world. And it is very important to know what we can do to stay healthy and boost our immune system. I'm not going to talk about social distancing and reducing the exposure because I covered that in my previous video. So that's number one thing you can do to stay healthy. But what we can do to enhance our health and boost our immune system, and why is it so important, especially if you're trying to conceive, for a couple of reasons. Number one, implantation. What happens with implantation is when the embryo burrows into the uterine lining, it is perceived from the body as a foreign object, and the body is trying to do everything to push it away. So this is part of the characteristics of pregnancy, immune suppression. So it is crucial that we support our immune system in those times, so that it's not overreactive, over hypersensitive, so that we want to have a healthy implantation. Also, we want to carry a healthy pregnancy, and as I said, immune suppression is a characteristic of pregnancy in general. So we want to make sure that our immune system is boosted and in best shape. That's why it is important, especially if you're trying to conceive. And of course, if you are not, you don't want to get sick anyway. Number two reason, if we are trying to conceive, is, and I'm just briefly going to touch on this because I don't want to repeat myself, even though sometimes redundancy is a key. The follicular genesis takes 8 months. It takes 4 months for a follicle to develop from a primary follicle to a main follicle, and then 4 more months to develop into an ovulatory follicle. So in those 4 months, everything that we do, what we eat, what we drink, our lifestyle habits, whether we are healthy or not, matters, and it impacts the egg of the quality of the egg. And similarly, the spermogenesis takes about 3.5 months, and everything that happens during this time, and whether the man is healthy or not, impacts the health of this sperm and the health of your future baby. So it is another reason why it is important. Thank you, Sonia Mu. 4 key things we can do to boost our immunity. Number 1 is eat a balanced diet. I can't talk enough about balanced eating and how crucial it is for fertility and for a healthy immune system. That means plenty of protein, plenty of vegetables, plenty of fruit. It is unbelievable that you go to the store these days, and the thing, I was grocery shopping this morning, and what you see is missing on the shelves is the food that is generally not healthy, and things that are healthy for us, like fruits and vegetables, are plentiful, but you can see a flour missing and rice missing, and not that necessarily it's not healthy, but mostly you will see packaged and processed food being buyed, and carbs. So plenty of vegetables, plenty of fruit, good protein. I'm not going to repeat myself and say that they need to be from organic sources, as clean as possible. There are certain foods that are rich in certain nutrients that are very, very important in these times, and the crucial nutrients are vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and selenium. The vitamin A rich foods that you can start eating, prioritizing them are liver, cod liver oil, meats, vitamin C rich foods. These are all citrusy fruits, bell peppers, broccoli, oranges, strawberries, vitamin D. Is fish. Salmon is a good source of vitamin D. I have plenty of notes so that I don't forget anything. Mushrooms, tuna, eggs. Of course, the best source of vitamin D, of course, is the sun. So if you can expose yourself for at least 20 minutes under the direct sunlight, with the most amount of skin exposed, with no sunscreen protection, would be the best. Of course, in our hemisphere is still cold, so that's not always an option. Another important nutrient is zinc. Foods rich in zinc are meats, nuts, lentils, seeds, eggs, oysters. Dark chocolate is a good source of zinc. And the last micronutrient is selenium. 2 to 3 Brazil nuts per day are your needed daily dose of selenium, and is the best source where you can get it, instead of taking it in supplement form. 2 or 3 Brazil nuts will do the job. Avoid processed foods as much as possible, packaged foods, hydrogenated fats, alcohol, sugar, gluten, dairy. The 3 last ones, gluten, dairy, and sugar, are things that I talk a lot about to my clients, especially if there is an immunological aspect in their inability to conceive or carry a healthy pregnancy to term, because these foods will wreak havoc on your immune sensitivity. They just make they boost the immune reactivity, so they are better avoided. Did I forget anything that is bad for you? Trans fats and hydrogenated fats, yes. Number 2 thing we can do to boost our immunity is exercise. Exercise needs to be regular, possibly a daily activity. You don't need to overstrain yourself because we want to consume, to preserve some energy, not to overconsume ourselves. But the regularity of exercise is crucial, and possibly that should be combined with some fresh air. If you are confined at home and you cannot go out, you don't have a yard, you exercise at home, but make sure that you take some fresh air from the balcony. Very important. Number 3, we need to manage our stress. We need to make sure that we are not stressed more than 50% of the time. Some of my tips here are: number 1, don't watch TV excessively, and we all tend to do so now. Limit the time where you're going to get your daily news to a window of time, let's say in the evening. When you go on social media, go for something specific. Don't allow yourself to be overwhelmed by the coronavirus news, which is everywhere. Good things to reduce stress are meditation. If you cannot meditate, use guided meditation, yoga, dedicating yourself to a hobby, or just do some pleasant activity that you otherwise have no time for. Number 3, is it number 3? Food is number 1. Exercise number 2. Number 3, we want to we said about managing stress. That's number 3. So my number 4 tip is getting a good amount of good quality sleep. I can't overstress on sleep, of the importance of sleep. Sleep needs to be between 7 and 8 hours, possibly 8 hours. It needs to happen between the hours of 11 and 7, possibly. 11 to 1 a.m. is the window where our melatonin production is the strongest. And melatonin is a powerful antioxidant and is critical for your reproductive health and for your general health. So good tips for sleeping habits are: have a good tisane before herbal tea before going to bed. Try to get up early if you want to reset your biological clock and need to create a habit of going to bed earlier than you are. So if you get up early for a couple of days, that will reset your biological clock. And use this time when we are at home and you are not getting up early to go to work or to do whatever else you're doing routinely, to catch up on sleep. I want to go back a little bit on the foods, on the balanced diet, and talk a little bit about fruits that are particularly known for their antiviral and anti-inflammatory properties. Number 1 is garlic. Garlic is the food that has been known for centuries with its antiviral properties. So you can eat daily fresh garlic daily. Another good tip would be turmeric or curcumin that has anti-inflammatory properties and boosts your immune system. Ginger is also excellent for its anti-inflammatory properties. Elderberry syrup has been proven in vitro to deactivate the flu virus. So there are some suggestions that might be working similarly with the coronavirus. So elderberry syrup, the elderberries need to be cooked to avoid toxicity. And there is a lot of talk lately about medicinal mushrooms. Mushrooms in general are very rich in vitamin D, but there are studies, especially on shiitake mushrooms, boosting fertility. Variety of mushrooms is even better. The mushrooms contain a powerful antioxidant called beta-glucan, and the way it works is it's basically boosting the activity of your nuclear cells that are part of our army of the so-called white blood cells. When we get infected, they are the first line of defense that fight disease, bacteria, and viruses. So medicinal mushrooms can be used in your diet. I'm gonna quickly go through my notes to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. And there are some herbs, lastly, to support your stress response. Most of them are adaptogens. A good herb to boost immunity is astragalus. And another thing that my family has been using lately, actually we've started using this at the beginning of winter, is pine pollen. And I can tell you that we are so much healthier this winter. I have 2 little kids, and last winter one of them especially that's going to kindergarten was bringing constantly viruses and illness, and then the little one was getting it, and then my husband and I. This year it's so much different, and I think it's thanks to the pine pollen that we have been taking. It's a cell nutrient dense food that acts on cellular level very well because of the small size of its molecule. And the pine pollen is supposedly containing 236 different nutrients, vitamins, minerals,